Okay, back here with yet another example of a hypothesis test. This one is for a population standard deviation. And we are going to use the same type of reasoning that we've been using for the test for means and population proportion. With the exception here is that we're going to be using a new distribution, which is a chi-square distribution. So talked a little bit about those, and like I said before, when we were estimating those, so you can refer back to the big idea from week 4 about chi-square distributions. But I'm just going to kind of go through how you would go about doing this problem. Um, Notice here they give you in the scenario all the necessary information, and we are going to be using this master template here for a significance test for variance or standard deviation. These formulas that we're going to be using here that are programmed into the spreadsheet, just to, kind of an FYI thing. Notice if you take this and scroll down towards the bottom here, some facts about some other parameters. So, we were focusing on these earlier. But if you go down, you can see that these, goes over what the test statistic is. And it is just the sample size minus 1 times the variance of the sample divided by the hypothesized value for the variance, okay? And so the n minus 1 is degrees of freedom similar to the t distribution, okay? So a lot of that stuff, again, as usual, is going to be worked out for you here on the spreadsheet. We have this situation with Black Russian Terriers. So our sample size is 22, which you see I put in over here. And then I just put in the values for the sample standard deviation and hypothesized value, which happens to be 2.63. And of course, my significance level. That's all that's necessary here, because what we're going to do is get a test statistic, which you can see rounded to 3 decimal places is what we get here. The p-value, since this is a 2-sided test, notice they have this highlighted here. And really how they're figuring that out is they're just doubling the right tail, okay, for this. And so you can see that, if I just double this number here, punch it in a calculator if you want, it's just doubled here. And I actually had this up at first. Notice here the area is about 0.107, which is essentially what we're getting here. 0.107 round into 4 decimal places. Okay, they just express things in terms of a percentage here. Okay, so all we're doing is doubling that. The reason we're doubling that is because it's a 2-sided test. Okay, now remember, this is a non-symmetric distribution, but as the degrees of freedom increase, it becomes more and more like a normal distribution or a symmetric Bell station. This one is slightly skewed right here, okay? But that's just the procedure of how we go about doing a 2-tailed test. All right, so there's an example there for you. If you have any more questions on any of this stuff, like I said, I can't go through that entire list of it, with the examples, but if you do send me one, I will go back through it and try to figure out where your problem is and how to hopefully explain to you what you were struggling with. So here we are again, example of a hypothesis test for a population variance or standard deviation. In this case, it was a standard deviation using the p-value method. Okay, so there you have it. And as always, let me know if you have any questions.